I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills or even eat because he made more money than I did and I didn't make very much money. But at some point I just decided that I would rather be hungry than be miserable. And I mean, I definitely did go through some times where I was hungry, but I don't regret my decision at all.
Hmm. Anyone else?
This is C. I've never been in a situation where I wasn't financially able to leave, but I know I had a friend who lived close to me, and I used to let her and her kids sleep in my house whenever things were hectic at her house. And I offered her to move in, but she never wanted to. And she's still in the same situation, like a year or two later. Um, but I mean, I understand why she decided to. I mean, I don't co-sign with her, but I understand her reasoning for wanting to go back and stay.
Hmm. Tawanda, in your experience when you were assisting these women who were in domestic violence situations, did they ever tell you their reasons for staying?
You hit the nail on the head in reference to what you just said. Of course, the first thing is people feel like he had a bad day. They will make excuses for the guy. And then most situations was because of financial. Either the person did not work or either they were the actual breadwinner. And when you have children, you don't have resources, you're estranged from your family. But let me say this really, really quickly too, because I'll never forget one time at that very same job that I had a lady call one day. And I worked at the Salvation Army as a social worker. And we had caller ID, so I had, I could see some of the numbers that were called in unless they blocked it. And I said, hello, Salvation Army. And she said, I need your help. My husband's been beating me. I think he's going to eventually kill me. Like, I don't really know what to do. And we talked for like less than 1 minute. And I'm like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, what's happening? She said, listen, I need some help, da da da. She said, oh, I gotta go. He's coming. And I'm like, wait. And then she hung up. And I was like, and I wrote the number, I wrote the number down when she started talking and said, started saying what she was saying. I went ahead and wrote the 843-662 because this was in Florence, South Carolina. And then I had the number written down. I had no idea what her name was, but I had resources to be able to get it. And then like a minute or two later, I said, Salvation Army, this is so and so, blah blah blah. How can I help you? Because I'm answering the phone. So I think the secretary was out or whatever. And when I said that, he said, it was a guy calling back. He said, I got your name. If you come here, you have anyone come here, I'll kill you. And hung up. And I just sat there for a couple of seconds like, what? And I just said Salvation Army and my name. He knows where I'm at. So for the rest of the day, I sat watching the door. People came in because I had no idea somebody could come in at any minute and blow my brains out. Because the thing about domestic violence, if people don't know, friends get killed too. People on the sidelines get killed too. People that give you a place to stay get killed too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that really scared me to death. And guess what I did? I did nothing. I didn't even call anybody. He scared me to death. Before, but I couldn't do nothing else. I was 23 years old. I didn't know what I could do other than be
Hmm.
scared.
Hmm. When you're in those kind of situations and you are the person who I'll call, you're basically the third party. You're not the person, one of the people in the relationship. Sometimes the only thing that you can do would be to call outside assistance, whether it would be, 911 or um, emergency response. Because if you get involved yourself, like you said, not only could you get injured, you could get killed. This person is already attacking somebody who they claim they love, they claim they love, and they won't hesitate to do it to someone else. So the safest thing to do in that situation is to be on the sideline and call an authority for assistance to handle it. And the another thing that people don't realize about these situations is that often in many domestic violence situations, when the police do show up to take away the abuser, sometimes the abusee, the person who is being abused, will fight the police on behalf of the abuser. Now, I've never seen it happen, and I've never experienced this, but I have heard of it happening, and I've heard descriptions of these kind of things taking place. So you don't ever want to be the person, if you're a third party, to try and break up a DV couple. You just don't. You get outside people of authority, the police or whatever, who know how to handle these kind of situations. So I want to give, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a domestic violence hotline. I don't know how many resources women out there have, but I would like to give out this information for anybody who is in a domestic violence situation and they don't know where to go and they don't know how to get help. This domestic violence number is a national hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233. Again, it's a domestic violence national hotline, and it's 1-800-799-7233. And if you are in a domestic violence situation, or you are the friend of somebody who is in a domestic violence situation and you just want to get this person resources, please call this number so that you can get assistance. And you could really save somebody's life. You can honestly save somebody's life. I want to talk a little bit about ways to encourage yourself if you're in a DV relationship, or encourage somebody who is in a DV relationship to make healthy choices. So what are some healthy choices or ways to encourage someone to healthy choices that you might be able to give to someone out there? Annie, you go first.
Honestly, my biggest thing is I remember one of my sisters and I always talk about it, and what she always says to me is that she missed me so much because I was never around with the family at that time, because I was always hiding or whatever. And you don't want to put your family or your children through that. And that's the important part. Like take a look around at what you're doing to yourself and to those that you love. And, you're stronger to walk away and build your own life. And it may be scary and hard, but it's doable. And there's people out there that will help you.
Right. Tawanda?
I would have to say, if I had to say one thing, get yourself a good support system and positive associations. Associations can save your life. Regardless of what type of situation a person is in, when you have one or two people that are around you, if you have one or two girlfriends, for example, someone positive, someone who loves you, someone who cares about you, someone who truly wants the best for you, they can be an ear to listen. They can be a house that you can stay at. They can be that outlet that's not abusive if you ever need that situation. I know hundreds of women over the last 20 years that's been in domestic situations, and over half of them have said, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't trust anyone. I didn't have anyone who wouldn't judge me, and so on and so forth. Sometimes as a friend, you got to be a friend. Just shut up. Just shut up and listen. Just shut up and say, hey, I don't care what's going on. You can come here. So having association so someone would know you are not alone.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
This is C. I agree with both ladies. I think that it's important to know your self-worth and know that you're above anything that anyone's saying about you. You're worth more than that, and you're not worth someone belittling you.
Anyone else?
I think learning the patterns, because I was always sucked in by the rainbows and hearts, and so if I would have known sooner that was pretty typical of abusive situations, maybe I could have gotten out sooner.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what Amanda is talking about is that it's called the cycle of violence. So what happens in the cycle of violence is that first the abuser starts out very sweet, and then he gets a little bit, mean, and then he gets meaner, and then finally there's a point to which there's a snap almost in the relationship, and he'll physically hit or abuse And afterward, there will be sort of a cooling down honeymoon period where he's back to being sweet and nice and kind. And what she was saying, you know, the kisses and rainbows. And that doesn't last very long. And it starts to slip back into a pattern and cycle of violence. So that's what's called the cycle of violence. So I just want to wrap this up. Unless you guys have any other thoughts, I want to, you know, just put it out there. There is help for you. There is hope for you. If you have been in a domestic violence relationship, or you are in a domestic violence relationship, there are shelters that can take you in and hide you. Even if, and I want to say this specifically because I have seen women who were married to cops who were being abused, and they were terrified. They didn't know if they could go anywhere. They had nowhere to hide. You can go to DV shelters. They are required by law to prevent anybody, including the police, from entering the premises. You can be safe, even if you are being abused and you are the spouse of an abusive cop. You can get help. So please make sure that if you are in an abusive relationship that you get the help that you need. Does anybody have any other thoughts?
Oh, this is one. I think the last I was saying in reference to what you just said is don't take anything for granted. I know a lot of time, like I said, I was a person that was judgmental and didn't really understand it. You know, you never know what someone is going through until you walk a mile in their shoes. So regardless of what spectrum we all are that listen to this call all over the world, just don't judge anyone. Don't take anything for granted. Be helpful. Sometimes listening means everything, because this actually is something very serious. I have no idea how many people die at the hands of domestic violence daily, but I know that it's too many. And we definitely need to make sure that we do a better job at being there for the person if we can.
Right. I just want to thank everybody for calling in and for listening to the show and for giving all of your input. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you that was able to share and to give your stories, because it can make all the difference in the world to someone out there who thinks that they're alone. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We're going to wrap up the show. And I hope that you will join us the next time on Real Girlfriends Across America. This has been Kay. Good night, ladies.
Thank you. Looking forward to hearing your outro.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Real Girlfriends Across America. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. EDT time or 6 p.m. PDT time. Make sure you tune in on all of our platforms, and that's anywhere where podcasts are being played. Make sure you visit us at www.realgirlfriend.org or on Instagram at realgirlfriend7, that's the number 7, Twitter at realgirlfriend7, or on our Facebook page at Real Girlfriends Across America. We can't wait to chat with you next, and until next time, have a great and awesome day.